Surprisingly, the hardest part, like the reason why I became aware of mental health wasn't the cultural barrier, it wasn't the language barrier, it was actually after I felt integrated into the society. It was the identity crisis that made me made me become aware of mental health just in general.
As a first generation Nigerian, my parents had a completely different upbringing, and in their culture, mental illness wasn't talked about, and if it was talked about, it was kind of demonized.
My parents grew up in China, and there really isn't any kind of mental health culture, and so they had no idea about anything, and that definitely influenced how I learned about it and how I handled myself in the first few years of trying to figure out what it meant to have depression and anxiety. And I hid a lot of it because my parents made me feel like it was something that had to be really kept a secret and wasn't something for other people to know.
You don't have to have only one cultural identity. Whatever you experience personally, it all accumulates and becomes a part of your new identity over time.
It's taken me a while to acknowledge the fact that, mental health is health, and I should treat it just like physical health.
So I come from a single parent. My mom is the one that's raised me this entire time. And I'm not gonna lie, we've had a lot of arguments in the sense that I'm going through something that she hasn't gone through, so she doesn't experience it, so she's seeing it from her perspective.
If you have issues like communicating with your parents because of some of these gender roles that I think are more prevalent in them than are you, like I think you have to have some sort of resilience to stand by your position on how you feel, and honestly just hope that they're understanding.
She has certain values and different ways of seeing things, but we also are in a new space that shares different values, so she's able to bring both of those together and kind of make like the best of both worlds. It's kind of how I see it.
When we encourage communication, we encourage people to delve more into themselves and their personal opinions. So by encouraging that, I think that also goes a long way towards helping bridge some of those issues. So that's what I would say.
Growing up with an abusive father, there was times where I felt like I didn't have a voice, and I felt like I couldn't be heard. And as the first girl in my family to go to university, I felt there's been times where I felt like maybe I don't deserve to be here at Western, and I felt like I couldn't make it. And sometimes I still wonder and I struggle. But I'm lucky to go to Western where we recognize stigma, we recognize the hardships that people can go through. Everyone, we all have problems, we all have gone through struggles, right? And it's important to remember that you are greater than your circumstances, and remember that you don't have to go through your life being a victim, and you can accomplish so much more. And you can take all that pain and the frustration that you've had, mentally, physically, whatever you've gone through your life, and you can challenge it to something great.
I know for some of my friends personally, they've struggled with things like, man up, like people telling them, men have a certain standard in society where they need to be strong, fearless, effectively not to show any emotion whatsoever. And I think that is pretty damaging, especially if someone is going through a really rough period in their life. You obviously don't want to be telling them, you can't be human.
It's a very taboo topic, but because we're so immersed in social media, every single day you open a platform, and while you're scrolling, you're for sure going to come across someone who's talking about mental health and how important it is to take care of your mind. And so it helps you sit back and realize that whatever struggles you're going through, a lot of people around the world are going through as well.
I think it comes down to just continuing a conversation. Really the young generation right now, us youth, are continuing a conversation of mental health. So a lot of people are really talking about their feelings, talking about how stress and everything going on in school life or student life plays into mental health. And I think right now we're having a lot of conversation with that. But, you know, when my parents were kids, they didn't really have those important conversations. So I think it really comes down to just talking with older people and older people talking to younger people and just continuing a conversation. And that way we can really improve everyone's mental health.
First year you walk in and you're just like, I need to get those grades, I need to excel, I need to make my parents proud. But there's no such thing. You learn that there's no such thing as a failure. It's either a redirection or it's a lesson. You never fail in life. There's always something that comes out of everything. So just keep that in mind.